thanks very much for joining us on The Breakfast.
Welcome.
It is a bit like that, isn't it? It's an amazing space, the Freemasons Hall.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
We started shooting here last year.
We did. Well, I filmed a little bit, you filmed a little bit more than me, yeah.
It lends the film a really good atmosphere, though, because it's a spooky atmosphere throughout it. It's black magic. Tell us a bit about the plot.
There has been a rash of murders, serial and sacrificial in their nature, which at the very beginning of the movie is thwarted by Watson and Holmes. We believe that justice has been served, but then something supernatural occurs, and then we've really got our hands full. Meanwhile, the real story in the story, if you ask me, is that Watson has definitively decided to get away from Holmes. And that, to me, is the real mystery, is how is Holmes going to keep Watson in his life and away from that wretched woman you think you're going to marry.
Holmes, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you wearing a
False nose? No.
Tell me that was a what?
Holmes! Where are you going?
What's that?
Working on a Guy Ritchie movie, it must be different to working on other films, because there's always a certain, in the finished product, there's a certain energy to it. And he strikes me as being not your average film director. Is that the right way?
God love him. I'll never forget it.
He's as unique as all great filmmakers should be, you know. He has his own way of doing things. I tell you, I've never worked on a happier set, and running a happy set, especially on a film this size, is a real telltale of how talented the director is. And the fact that we shot it quickly and with that energy in mind, but always studiously and with great humour, was again, it all comes from the top.
First of all, he would well, he was calling you Hodson, so he would say, "You're all right, Hotsy," after a take, and so that became commonplace.
Hodson.
Hodson, yeah, the hot Watson.
No, that's not.
He's a hot Watson. He's a hot Watson.
Then he would, sometimes he'd come in and tell me my hair looked like I was about to be in a Vegas show act and we had to fix it, that he would not allow me to look that ridiculous on camera. And oftentimes he would congratulate both of us on finally being able to deliver some sort of performance approaching heterosexual.
Well, I mean, you get the feeling watching the film that it was a sort of happy experience to make. And
it was. Yeah. It was
and you are a very good partnership on screen, and it does suggest a sequel. It does suggest more. And there was a producer outside who said, "You know what? There might be a whole bunch of these."
Ooh.
Could you bear to work again together in other films?
Can't wait.
No, I can't wait.
Yeah.
What producer? We're going to talk to him.
All right, we look forward to it. Guys, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
to talk to you.
We're very lucky to be joined at the world premiere of Sherlock Holmes by the very dashing Jude Law. Hello. Tell us about your role and the whole film in general. Obviously, it's had a massively...
Well, I was intrigued when I was told that Guy Ritchie was directing Sherlock Holmes and Robert Downey Jr. was playing Sherlock Holmes, and you get an immediate sense that, okay, this isn't going to be a rehash of the Holmes that we know from the past. And I love the idea of re-energising it and rediscovering it. But what amazed me was when I took the job, having fallen madly for Robert Downey, who's a delicious man, both in private and in the workplace. But when we went back and actually looked at the source material, we realised that so much of what was being aimed at was actually true to the books. And there was all this unmined stuff, both in Watson and in Holmes, that really had never been, or had been overlooked because of the legacy of the Basil Rathbone films. So I hope what we've done is really shine a light back on Conan Doyle's Holmes, and at the same time embrace the fact that we had the opportunity and the money to make a really thrilling film.
We just figured there was a lot of things that I remember in reading the text that were naturally humorous, and Guy's got a pretty wild sense of humor, so we just kind of found its way into the script a little bit.
Yeah, altogether we had a sort of collective idea and a collective agreement of how we thought Sherlock should be represented. I just happened to be fortuitous enough to be the director that could realise that collective concept, really.